Chairman, I regret I was delayed, but I was dealing with the NAFTA issues and Mexican trucks, which I think might have some support with members of this committee. Admiral Kelly, as I understand it, you're the sort of personnel guy. What have you redeployed people from around the country, down into that region, and how much has it interrupted your other activities around the nation, and what sorts of extraordinary overtime are people putting in here?
Yes, sir. We've deployed just roughly 3,000 men and women, active duty, reserve, and civilians to Texas, along the Gulf Coast, Florida, and now to Puerto Rico. We've deployed those folks from everywhere from Maine to Alaska, sir, along with their units. The cost of doing that, as my colleague already stated, we'll never put search and rescue, and we'll never put our frontline missions at risk. But the cost of doing that is the maintenance of our equipment and the maintenance of our people, long term, sir.
Okay, so that will be part of when you quantify the physical damage. You'll add in also perhaps costs that relate to that extra deployment and those costs.
Yes, sir. I can speak already. Just from a travel perspective, we've already exceeded $1 million in what we've had to do with sending people
right.
TDY to support.
You know, I've been critical of the Coast Guard in one respect on these issues, which is you're always too nice. And I'm pleased to hear you're being a little bit more assertive about your unmet needs. I mean, you were already suffering a couple of $1 billion or so in terms of deferred capital investment, as I understand it, and now we're looking at these damages. And I would hope that you would ask for a very, very robust number, and not. And I think Admiral Z has been getting more and more outspoken on this. I mean, you just need to tell us what you really need to fully mitigate all the additional costs because of these 3 hurricanes. And we'll help you fight for it. And I hope I can get that commitment.
Yes, sir. And I think the Commandant going on record for the 5,000 men and women that we need in our service over the next 5 years is a clear statement, maybe a visionary statement on his part with regards to our ability to respond to contingency response across the nation and around the globe. Great.
I think, and I don't know whether either of you would be comfortable addressing this issue, but it does relate to your day-to-day activities. There's been a lot of talk about the need to waive the Jones Act. On the other hand, I have been in touch with Jones Act companies who are, they've made major investments with the idea of continuing to serve Puerto Rico. Is there, I just heard one of our colleagues on the floor talking about we had to have a permanent waiver for the movement of fuel to Puerto Rico. Is there a shortage of tonnage to serve Puerto Rico? I mean, what we're hearing is containers are piled up on the docks virtually to the capacity of those areas, and they just can't get them distributed. Can either of you address that, or?
Sure, I would submit that neither of us are probably the best
okay.
The best officers to address that.
Okay, well that's fine. But I just wanted to see if we could get some response out of you. But
yes, sir. I've sailed in and out of the port of San Juan and Aguadilla, and my colleague has been commanding officer down there for 3 years. But to that specific question, sir, probably not the right.
Okay, all right. Don't want to put you on the spot. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank the ranking member.